Yo-ho, what's going on, guys? What's up? What's up? Good afternoon. How the heck are you guys today? All right, nice little Monday. You guys know Monday is my favorite day of the week, guys. It's a good day to have a good day. Let's dive into it. What's going on in crypto to start the week, baby? As you can see on Bitcoin here, we've broken out of the bear flag. Now, last night we were up here at the 30-day moving average at about $90,000. So over in our trading group on the Patreon, we put in a short, and boom, we absolutely crushed it on that trade, guys. Everyone who got in on that trade paid for their membership 100 times over on one trade, guys. So when the market is red, we were making a bunch of money over on the Patreon in the trading group. So get over there, guys. You're missing out. It is literally half the price of a cup of coffee right now. Half the price of a cup of coffee. And you're missing out on it, right? Check it out, guys. Let's get into the chat just a wee bit. See what's going on out there. We got 0 super chats to start the stream. Feeling very appreciated today. Jake the Snake says, honestly, wouldn't it be funny for BTC to hit 69,420? Nice. It's a me, Mario, Big Bro, Senior, Rob. Let's rip this nasty crusty band-aid off already. Let's go. 96K Bitcoin first. It's going to drag out. Any chance of an alt season happening before May of 2026? Danny, what's up, buddy? Good to see you, my guy. Random says, Rob, I'm screwed. I bought Jasmine for a couple years now. It's tanking. Jasmine is not tanking. The entire market is tanking. It's never good to focus on one altcoin and say, this one altcoin is tanking when the entire market is tanking. It's not that one altcoin's fault. What I would say, for me personally, my friend, I have a strategy in place for my cost averaging going into the drops. If you need help with a plan, man, get over to the Patreon and book a coaching call with me, and I'll help you out, man. Leo, want to thank you for all you do, brother. Leo, thank you so much, brother. I appreciate you, man. A little bit of appreciation today to kick it off the week. That's fantastic, brother. Thank you so much for that. Where are we here? Where are we in the chat? Been in crypto 1 year now. All I've seen for the most part is downward action, but just going to keep trying. Jordan, here's the thing, my friend. I absolutely appreciate your honesty. And you know what? My buddy Cesar Gets Crypto, he has a saying that I find is very relevant right now, right? And it's that people who are newer to crypto, people who have only ever seen red and downward action because of the timing of where they entered the market, that's all they can really rely on. So we can't get mad at them and stuff like that. We have to try to help them, right? Because it's all they've ever seen is downward pressure in the market. So we got to find a way to encourage and let them know that there is upside, guys, right? So absolutely. 69.067. Let's go. J Money, we got Bulbasaur in the house. What's up, my guy? Benjamin says, we are not all George. God gives us free will. Rob's one of his kids. Yes, he doesn't force anyone hard. Anyone's hand. Yes, entertain and enlighten on crypto. Exactly. Jesus, we skipped altcoin season, went straight to the bear market, saw my portfolio go up, wrote it back down. Hey, they'll explode eventually, my friend. I did make an argument last week for a potential altcoin season between January and April, right? Nothing is certain in this space, but I did make a compelling argument that you can check out. Quentin, what's up, buddy? All this fear is supposed to be bullish, right? Absolutely, man. Absolutely. When everybody is bearish, I am bullish. Guys, make sure you hit the like and subscribe on the way in. We got 127 people watching. We got 30 likes, guys. Smash the like button. Let's get it going. Let's get it moving to the upside here. Funky. Not far from the bottom, eh? Let's go. Very bullish. Surf Armory. Robius, Maximus, Gladius, our all-knowing crypto master. You are the beacon lighthouse guiding us through the foggy market. I've made 2 years worth of subscription money following your shorts. Thanks, big dog. Hey, absolutely, brother. Absolutely. We crushed it on that Bitcoin short last night, guys. Guys, listen, you can be making money even when the market is red. Join our trading group today because, like I said, last night we shorted Bitcoin from 90K all the way down to, what did we hit? 85,275. We crushed it, man. We crushed it. Dave, what's up, man? Good to see you, brother. Good to see you. Blessings, John. Smash the like button. Good day to all. Be blessed. Absolutely. Paul, what's happening, man? Wise Tron, what's happening, man? Good to see you. Over the top, supporting me over on Rumble. Guys, make sure you are following us on Rumble, on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok, and everywhere else you want to be. Crypto J505, we got Gengar in the house, second Pokemon of the day. Got to catch them all, baby. Another local says, is it wrong to be excited about piling up panic sellers bags when altcoin hits rock bottom? Absolutely not. If people want to sell you their bags at lower prices, that's their choice, man. Scoop them up. I watch Cesar's Zebek videos every day. I'm not mad, just a little bummed. I should join your community. Is there a link to do so? Yes, Jordan, there is a link in the pinned comments, and it is in the chat as well. It's actually 50% off right now. We only do this sale once a year at Christmas time, so it is actually the best time to do so, brother. At these prices, you can't go wrong. Absolutely. Another local says, all-you-can-eat buffet of panic selling bags soon. Yes, actually, guys, you know what? You know what? Bear with me for 1 second. I got to show you something. Bear with me. Okay, I'm back. They showed up, guys. They showed up. The T-shirts showed up. I got them. I will be shipping them out. Certified panic sellers. Don't miss it, guys. Check it out. Paul says, what's going on, brother? What is going on? Good to see you. Ben says, don't force anything. You may get hurt. Exactly. Big Mike supporting the channel. My brother, thank you so much, man. Guys, it's been slim pickings. So for everyone who does support the channel still, thank you so much. You are greatly, greatly appreciated, man. It does not go unnoticed. Ari says, lunchtime with Rob. Let's get it. H. Barbarina in the house. What's going down? M. Good says, this time last year for 2 months, my investment rode up 20x. Cashed out 50% in January. Now still 5x on my total money. Just wait for the next one. Nice. There you go, man. There you go. I see that as a win, brother. I see that as a win. Okay, we're caught up in the chat. Let's get into the news, man. Let's see what's going on out there. First, let's jump over to X. What is happening over on X? Well, first we got to play this here from Crypto Chrome, covering Zebek, guys. Zebek quietly building something big for 2026.
Zebek just introduced 2 new partners to the world, and on the surface, it looked routine. But the way their CEO Simon Babakani talked about 2026 was anything but. This wasn't a launch. It wasn't hype. It sounded like someone calmly laying out pieces that already fit. First came Privy, a wallet layer designed so users don't have to think about crypto at all. Then Hypernative, real-time security and monitoring built for serious scale, not experiments. These aren't flashy additions. They're foundational. As Crypto Chrome dug into the full conversation, one thing stood out. Simon wasn't pitching features. He was speaking with confidence about what comes next. Payroll, wallets, compliance, payments, quietly being connected into one surface, not announced as a super app, just assembled like one. When founders stop selling the vision and start talking about timelines, it usually means the groundwork is already done. And the way 2026 keeps coming up, that doesn't feel speculative. It feels scheduled.
Absolutely, guys. Listen, I do have a deeper dive video coming out later this week about their partnership with Prevy as well. You're not going to want to miss that one, guys. We got lots of stuff on the docket coming out. I'm excited about it, man. I am excited about it. But it doesn't stop there, guys. Billionaire, and explains why Bitcoin is going to $1,140,000 this cycle. What? Check it out.
You should really look at the pattern of Bitcoin after a halving. So here's a little Bitcoin price analysis for you guys. So there's been a couple of halving cycles that have happened. And I asked him to go back and look at the price performance 1 month after a halving, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, and 18 months after a halving. And what you notice is that there are these moments initially where essentially when you go through a Bitcoin halving, people are sort of reassessing what's happening and they're trying to figure it out. That's sort of what I would say happens in the first month and roughly what also happens in the first 3 months. But then within 6 months to a year and 18 months of these things, there are these crazy price appreciation cycles that happen. So that's what this page shows, which is, 18 months after the first halving, the Bitcoin price returned 45x. After the second halving, it returned almost 28x. And after this third halving, it returned almost an 8x, which is really incredible returns in such a short period of time. If you go to the next page. And so if you graph that, this is what it starts to show, which is what is this price performance after each of these halving cycles. Now, why is that interesting? Well, it's interesting because on top of this halving, which theoretically, if history is a guide, we should see some price appreciation. Obviously, the other thing that's happened is we've commercialized Bitcoin. And we talked about this sort of as my big prediction for 2024, which is these ETFs are really going to allow Bitcoin to cross the chasm and have its sort of central key moment, right? And so if you apply the averages, and again, these are just averages, they're by no means predictions. Okay, so I just want to qualify that.
Yeah,
these are
this
just
is not financial advice.
It's not financial advice. These are just guesses.
Data.
We took these and we applied it to the price of Bitcoin. And if you go to the next page, you start to see what could happen if you just take the average of the last few cycles. So because the first cycle was so extreme, and you start to
so you're just doing cycle 2 and 3 here, to be clear.
Just the averages of cycle 2 and 3. And what you start to see is some really meaningful appreciation. And when I talked to Wences about this, how he explained it, which makes a lot of sense to me, is there are a lot of countries that will never look at Bitcoin credibly, even if they support it. The US may be one of those, but there's an increasing body of countries that will become dual currency. And they will look at their local currency, and then they will look at Bitcoin. And they will say both of these two things are needed. One, when you're transacting on a daily basis for random goods and services. And two, when you need to buy a permanent asset that needs to have residual value, you'll use something like BTC. And I think that's a very powerful concept. And if you look at what this price chart could indicate, is that if this thing starts to get to these levels of appreciation, it is going to completely replace gold and start to become...
There you go. There you go, baby. What do you think? What do you think? Is Bitcoin going to reach $1.14 million this cycle? My response is no, not this cycle. Not this cycle. Eventually, that's why I never sell my Bitcoin, though, right? So I just continue to accumulate Bitcoin over time. What else do we have here? Jared says, just killing it in the trading group. Woke up to money yesterday, the day before, and the day before that. Great times. Absolutely. Yes, we are absolutely destroying it over there. Sir Farmer says, how do we get a shirt? I will be doing, once I send out all the shirts, Sir Farmery, we've only been sending them out to Patreon members at this point in time. I know you're a Patreon member, but it was kind of before your time that we ordered them. So what we're going to do, I'm going to get those all sent out, and then I'll probably do another line of t-shirts after that. So yeah. I'll let you guys know. I'll let you guys know though once we start doing it. So, Big Mike says, got to super chat you again, brother. I hope you know how much we appreciate you. Seriously. Thank you so much, Big Mike. Thank you so much. One of my true supporters, man. Always here. You always got my back. Absolutely, man. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Carlos says, made some crazy gains on the trading tier. Thanks, Rob. Hey, absolutely, man. We crushed that Bitcoin short last night, man. Absolutely. Guys, if you're not over in our trading group, I don't know what you're doing, man. You're sitting on the sidelines when you could be raking in dry powder, right? Get over there. It's less than half the price of a cup of coffee, for crying out loud. Let's keep it going. Coinbase adds Solana DEX support, boosting on-chain trading options. A lot of people have been talking about this in our Patreon community about Solana over on Coinbase, Solana projects. Coinbase is pushing deeper into on-chain trading on Solana, rolling out support for decentralized exchange activity directly inside the main application and now allowing users to swap tokens without ever touching a traditional order book. A shift the company frames as a move toward more seamless self-directed crypto trading, and still leverages Coinbase's familiar interface and compliance stack. The feature set turns Solana DEX ecosystems into a first-class citizen within the platform, probably for making it more user-friendly, right? That is how we get mass adoption of general retail investors who are not tech savvy, guys, is by user-friendly DEXs and centralized exchanges. According to the latest update, users can now access Solana-based DEX trading from within Coinbase and execute direct on-chain swaps across a wide range of SPL assets, removing the historical requirements for individual token listings and letting customers trade newly available Solana tokens as soon as liquidity appears on supported decentralized exchanges. Funding flows can be routed from bank accounts and debit cards, with USDC also supported as a payment and settlement option. Let's go Pico and LFG. Coinbase positions this Solana integration as part of the broader decentralized finance strategy, describing the upgrade as a significant step in its ongoing strategic push towards DeFi and greater engagement with Solana's rapidly expanding on-chain ecosystem. The launch follows the company's earlier rollout of DEX support for base network assets in August, and delivers on a prior commitment to add Solana connectivity, which has now arrived ahead of schedule for users. Andrew Allen, Coinbase's Solana product lead, emphasized that the new tooling makes it easier for customers to discover and interact with a long tail of Solana-based projects, highlighting that users can tap into millions of tokens through on-chain swaps, while developers gain a more attractive distribution channel plugged into Coinbase's existing user base. By following the operational friction of accessing DEX liquidity, the firm hopes to strengthen ties with both retail traders and builders. Under the hood, Coinbase is presenting the Solana DEX experience as a bridge between centralized and decentralized market structure, offering instant on-chain trading behind a familiar interface that can appeal to both retail and institutional users, while maintaining the advantages of decentralized execution and self-custody. The company says future plans include expanding Solana's base on-chain features, improving cross-chain capabilities, and pursuing deeper DeFi integrations as it competes with platforms like Robinhood and Kraken for global crypto trading flows. This is one of the reasons I am bullish on Swiftcoin, guys. They are a first mover in this cross-chain bridge narrative. They are the all-chain bridge, baby, and they will make their comeback, in my opinion. But don't call it a comeback. They've been here for years, right? Michael says, hey, how can I join the trading one when I already bought a yearly membership? You just got to upgrade your membership to the trading tier, my friend. Just go to the main page, go to memberships, and just upgrade to the trading tier. Do you think Coinbase would allow access to Solana memes like Pico and LFG? Well, I mean, they're talking about liquidity. They're talking about all Solana projects being accessible that have liquidity on dexes like Jupiter, Radium, and so on, right? I'm liking it. There you go. Yeah, man, I want to represent. Yeah, I'll let you guys know as soon as we do another round of t-shirts for sure. Liking XPL these days as a new bag. Yes, I'm with you on that. I am very bullish on XPL. Stay tuned for a deep dive video in the coming weeks on XPL for sure. I am doing a deep dive on that project, so keep your eyes peeled for that. Let's keep rolling along here, guys. Let's keep it going. Let's get over to X again. What do we have? Merlin the Trader shares this. He says, Max Kaiser just dropped the mother of all macro bombs. Check it out, guys.
You mentioned one way to deal with this is obviously raising interest rates to tackle inflation, an obvious move. But what is the answer to this problem, and what can the US Treasury and the Fed do right now to deal with this looming crisis?
Well, yeah, raising rates is what Paul Volcker did in 1980 when the debt to GDP ratio that was a possibility, and rates into the 18-19%, right? But the debt to GDP ratio right now is 10 times at least higher. So that's actually not going to work. There is no solution. That's why people are running into Bitcoin. That's why Bitcoin's worth over $1 trillion now. Why it's going to $10 trillion now is that people are running for the hills. They're getting out of Dodge. They're dumping their US Treasury bonds. They're dumping whatever they can, and they're putting it into Bitcoin. And so Bitcoin, we're going to see Bitcoin be the major winner in this sovereign debt collapse globally. That's how you get to $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 per Bitcoin. Everybody knows it now. Paul Tudor Jones, Stan Druckenmiller, Michael Saylor over at MicroStrategy. They're all openly talking about a speculative attack against the central banks. Borrow at that cheap rate, buy Bitcoin, and let them die. That's what's going on.
And Janet Yellen, for one, expects these interest or these inflation levels, rather, to persist until mid-2022. Do you think that's an accurate forecast, or could we see these problems persist into the years after that?
You know, last year, Janet Yellen said the biggest problem was deflation. Then they said, oh, you know what? It's actually inflation. Then they said the inflation was transitory. Now they're saying the inflation is going to be around for a few years. We're at the beginning of a multi-year secular inflation that will last quite a bit of time. We're leaving a 40-year bull market in bonds. It started when Volcker finished his job back in 1980, and Ronald Reagan and Margaret Thatcher came to office, and we've had 40 years of lower interest rates. Well, that's now finished. We're going to have now a multi-year period of rising interest rates. It's going to be worse than the 1970s. We're going to see major defaults across the corporate world. We're going to see sovereign defaults, and we're going to see more countries like El Salvador start to make Bitcoin legal tender to get out, and they're openly mocking the IMF. El Salvador is openly mocking the IMF on Twitter, saying, we're buying Bitcoin, ha. And we're in a completely new era, a new world, a new global standard, as Rand Paul, a senator in America, has called on Bitcoin to be the new global monetary standard. Not the dollar, not gold, Bitcoin.
Yes, and it's an older clip, but the point remains, guys, you are going to see those higher prices, in my opinion, when it comes to Bitcoin. Again, that's why I never sell my Bitcoin, guys. Never. I just accumulate. It's a forever appreciating asset, in my opinion. WB Trouble, what's going on, man? I hear up Jasmine is crashing again. Does this affect the possibility to get it? Nope, it does not. No, it does not. The price appreciation or depreciation of a project has no bearing on whether it can or cannot get out of the monitoring zone. Part 1 of the 3-part documentary will be out this week, guys, for Jasmine. So keep an eye out for that. You're going to get a lot of your questions answered for that project. So, guys, we have 181 people watching. We have 63 likes. Get the likes up, guys. Let's get to 100. Let's get to 100. We can do it. put you back into it. Bitcoin network hit by sudden mining shock. Over a very short period, a noticeable chunk of computing power vanished from the Bitcoin network. The drop was sharp, measurable, and sudden enough to stand out from the normal ebb and flow of mining activity. While price headlines focused on Bitcoin's slipping below the psychological threshold, the deeper signal came when the machines securing the network. Bitcoin's hash rate does not usually move in a straight line. Machines are turned on and off constantly as miners respond to energy costs, hardware upgrades, and profitability. What made this episode different was the speed. Rough estimates suggest that close to 1/10 of network's computing power disappeared almost at once. To reach that scale, an enormous number of machines would have to be shut down simultaneously, something that rarely happens without an external trigger. Mining executives quickly flagged the move as abnormal, pointing out that routine maintenance or marginal economics cannot explain such a concentrated event. Attention soon shifted to one of Bitcoin's mining former strongholds, Western China. Despite the country's nationwide ban on mining, pockets of infrastructure have historically remained active, operating under varying local conditions. Industry leaders believe the recent drop may reflect a localized disruption rather than a new nationwide policy shift. Regional enforcement, power constraints, or administrative pressures could all produce a sudden shutdown without public announcements. For now, the precise cause remains opaque. This is not the first time Bitcoin has absorbed a shock of this nature. In fact, its most famous stress test came in 2021 when mining activity in China collapsed almost overnight. At the time, the network lost far more computing power than it has now. What followed is often overlooked. Difficulty adjusted, miners relocated, and the network recovered faster than many expected. Within months, Bitcoin's hash rate not only rebounded but pushed to new highs as operations spread across North America, Central Asia, and the Middle East. The episode reshaped the Bitcoin's mining map permanently. The current decline is small by comparison, but it carries an important message. Bitcoin remains sensitive to regional disruptions even years after the most dramatic mining migration. At the same time, its architecture is built to handle exactly these kind of events. When hash rates fall, block difficulty eventually adjusts, restoring balance and preserving network functions. From a protocol standpoint, this is not a crisis, it is a recalibration. In the short term, volatility may increase as markets digest the uncertainty. Over the longer horizon, history suggests that displaced hash rate power rarely disappears. It simply moves. Bitcoin's network has been stress tested before under far harsher conditions. This latest episode looks less like a breaking point and more like another reminder of how the system adapts when parts of it suddenly go dark. So, little bit of a mining hash rate drop recently, but Bitcoin strong enough to withstand the test of time. Let's keep rolling along here, guys. We got another one from Crypto Chrome, Zebek's super app. Let's keep it rolling.
Zebek isn't building another crypto app. They're quietly replacing 5 financial systems with one. And the people using it won't be speculating. They'll be running companies on it. During the X Space call with Zebek CEO Simon Babakani, he was talking about structure. Zebek is quietly replacing payroll, cards, compliance, and payouts with one interface. Not an app you speculate on, an app you use. The kind companies rely on to pay teams, move money, stay compliant, and scale globally without stitching together 5 different platforms. And here's the part people missed. The new partners weren't added for hype. Each one fills a specific gap: identity, access, settlement, compliance. That's not experimentation. That's coordination. Crypto Chrome has been tracking these moves closely, and when you connect them, prove they line up, it stops feeling speculative. It feels scheduled. Zebek isn't racing the market. They're building quietly while everyone else argues. And if this plays out the way it looks, the real winners won't be institutions. It'll be the people who understood it early and positioned before the switch flipped.
The people who understood it early, that would be us. Right? That would be those of us who got in like a year and a half ago. And shout out to everyone who's gotten on board since then, because they realize what is coming for this phenomenal project. Jared says, can't wait for my shirt, bro. Definitely keep the trades coming. Wasn't sure if I was going to be able to afford Christmas, but that's turning around quickly. Hey, man, everything that I can do to help, absolutely. Jasmine's oversold for weeks, but keeps making new lows. Where's the bottom if BTC goes to 74K? Possibly, right? Very, very possible. All right, let's keep it rolling along here, guys. Jack Mullers hits back on powerful JP Morgan. In November, JP Morgan found itself in hot water with the crypto community after a series of controversial actions reigniting fears of a coordinated banking crackdown on digital assets in what many have dubbed Operation Choke Point 2.0. The uproar began when Strike CEO Jack Mullers accused the bank of abruptly closing its personal and business accounts in September without explanation. Since then, Mullers has continued to criticize major financial institutions for what he sees as a persistent skepticism and hostility towards Bitcoin. Mullers reignited the debate over Bitcoin's status as money after accusing major banks of pressuring him to tone down his advocacy. Speaking at a Bitcoin Amsterdam conference last month, Mullers recalled how JP Morgan abruptly closed his bank accounts in September without any explanation. He shared his views on how traditional banks still consider Bitcoin as just an asset rather than a financial innovation. During his talk, Mullers criticized the way powerful people have redefined money to serve their own interests. Quote, people have convoluted the concept of money to benefit them. It's like, no, Bitcoin is not money. You're talking about an asset. Dollar is money. First of all, don't tell me what to think or how to say what I want to say. Money is what I want to save. Then I later exchange things I want in my life. So I have to disagree with Jack Mullers on this. You should not, the whole purpose that banks and stuff, well, one of the reasons banks and stuff are threatened by crypto is because people keep referring to it as a replacement for fiat money. Stop calling it that, call it an asset class, and then they don't feel as threatened anymore, right? Mullers also suggests that JP Morgan has deeper issues, claiming CEO Jamie Dimon banked, I'm not going to say that because this is YouTube and I will get in trouble for saying the name. For Mullers, Bitcoin represents what he calls truth money. He argued that financial institutions are threatened by Bitcoin's transparent, decentralized nature. Quote, I speak only the truth, he said, adding that others have urged him to stop doing so. Beyond his criticism of banks, Mullers recently made headlines when his company, 21 Capital, went public on the New York Stock Exchange under the ticker XXI on December 9th. The enterprise aims to serve as a Bitcoin-only operating company designed for long-term shareholders' value and Bitcoin accumulation. So he made a company that specializes in buying Bitcoin. Well, I mean, I guess I'm a company too because I specialize in buying Bitcoin, right? I press buy. I'm elite. I'm elite at it. The listing was sponsored by Cantor Fitzgerald affiliate CEP, led by Chairman and CEO Brandon Lutnick. In a symbiotic move following the listing, Mullers installed a statue of Bitcoin Phenomeno's creator Satoshi Nakamoto outside the New York Stock Exchange, underscoring his belief that Bitcoin is entering the financial mainstream. Let's go. Of course it is. Of course it is. 100%. All right, let's keep this story moving along here, guys. All right, so we got this posted here from, again, Merlin the Trader. The U.S. just unlocked the biggest Bitcoin demand driver in history. Let's go.
Bitcoin Reserve. Congressman Davidson joins me now.
It's very quiet.
A series of questions here. Number one, what is a Bitcoin Reserve? What does it do? And how do you build it?
Well, first of all, the president created a strategic reserve of Bitcoin in part because the United States government didn't have like a single custodian. You had every agency in the government that might have had an asset, seized an asset, or anything else, any kind of digital asset. They didn't have custody of it, so they were losing track of the private keys. So essentially, when you lose your keys, you lose. It's like losing a pile of cash.
Yeah.
So they created an organized way and put it under Treasury to say, hey, we're going to have a single custodian for all of the Bitcoin, kind of like Fort Knox for crypto, right? Okay. And then they said, well, not all cryptos created equally. Bitcoin, we want to hold on to. It's an appreciating asset over a long period of time. Some of these other things, we should just sell them off and buy more Bitcoin. But they wanted to do it in a deficit neutral way. And I think a lot of people have been like, well, how else do you put money in there? And so we're introducing legislation that not only codifies that executive order, so there's a common sense way to have custody for the Bitcoin and other digital assets, but you can contribute. So when you pay your taxes, you can pay your taxes in Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is currency in that sense, and there's no capital gains.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. Yes, guys, and it's only a matter of time before other countries do the exact same thing, in my opinion. You're going to see all countries make a strategic Bitcoin reserve, probably multiple altcoins as well, in my opinion. But speaking of banks, sorry, I'm just trying to get back into the chat a little bit here. Meredith, what's up, brother? Good to see you, my guy. Overcomes in the house. What are your thoughts on BCH? Good project, great project. Yep, I know. My boy Cesar really loves BCH. Absolutely. I don't hold any of it, but I do think it's a good project, though. I don't care what they call it. Let's get that cheddar. Absolutely. Let's keep it going, though, guys. Bank of America says U.S. banks are heading for a multi-year on-chain future. The Wall Street firm said faster U.S. stablecoin and charter rules are pulling crypto into the regulated banking system and pushing banks towards an on-chain future. Crypto policy is shifting from talk to implementation as the OCC, FDIC, and Federal Reserve begin to sketch a regulatory parameter for stablecoins and tokenized deposits in the U.S., Bank of America said in a Monday report. Recent approvals and proposals mark the start of a multi-year transition that could push more real-world assets and payments on-chain. The analysis led by, I'm not even going to try to say that name because I will butcher it. The OCC's recent conditional approval of national bank trust charters for 5 digital asset firms is a meaningful step towards federal acceptance of stablecoins in crypto custody. Analysts wrote, the charter opened the door for digital asset activity inside the regulated banking system, provided it is offered as a fiduciary service with strong liquidity, compliance, and risk controls, according to the analysis. The FDIC is expected to release a notice of proposed rulemaking this week, detailing how payment stablecoins issued by subsidiaries of FDIC supervised banks can be approved. The analysts noted, those rules required under the Genius Act must be finalized by July 2026 and take effect by January of 2027. The report also highlighted comments from Federal Reserve officials indicating collaboration with other bank regulators on capital liquidity and diversification standards for stablecoin issuers, as mandated by the Genius Act. The analysis linked this to the broader global push, highlighting a recent Bank of England proposal for the regime government sterling systemic stablecoins, including asset holding requirements and caps on exposures. On the market structure side, Bank of America highlighted JP Morgan and Singapore-based DBS, which are exploring an interoperable framework for tokenized value transfers across public and permissioned blockchains. Yes, JP Morgan, the same bank that is fighting crypto, is trying to tokenize everything. That work, building on JP Morgan, JPMD Tokenized Deposit Initiative, underscores a live debate over whether tokenized deposits are a better alternative to stablecoins. The report said Bank of America sees a plausible future in which transactions in bonds, stocks, money market funds, and cross-border payments migrate on-chain, supported by new rules and institutional-grade infrastructure. To prepare, banks will not only banks need not only fluency in blockchain, but willingness to experiment with tokenized assets and on-chain settlements. The report added, absolutely, practice makes perfect, right? We got to get in there. We got to get our hands dirty, guys. Let's go. Let's keep it rolling. The Bitcoin therapist, billionaire Paul Tudor Jones, believes the market is reminiscent of 1999 and potentially more explosive.
What would I want to have? I'd want to have a combination of gold, crypto, and my guess is that I think all the ingredients are in place for some kind of a blow-off. Will it happen? Again, history rhymes a lot, so I would think some version of it is going to happen again.
Right.
If anything now is so much more potentially explosive than 1999. 1999, we were looking at a rate hike in November. Now we're looking at a rate cut. We were looking at 4 more rate hikes before we actually topped in 2000. Now we're looking at 3 or 4 rate cuts, probably at least. So you have monetary policy that's going to take us to real rates of 0 or less, probably, depending upon the next Fed chair. And then the big difference is, obviously, fiscal policy. We had a budget surplus in 99, 2000. Now we've got a 6% budget deficit. So that combination, that fiscal monetary combination, is a brew that we haven't seen since, I guess, the post-war period, early 50s, something like that. And that was crazy times, right, coming out of the war.
Well, you think that most people who are watching us now, you need to be in this market now. But then the question, as I said, is you have to jump off the train before the train crashes. If you're suggesting the train is going to crash.
I'm not suggesting the train's going to crash. I'm suggesting that we're in a period that's conducive for massive price appreciation in a variety of assets. Will it happen or not? I don't know. There's, if you kind of just look, if you just think about the leverage that we had in 1999, you look at margin debt, and then you look at today margin debt, but you have to throw in leverage ETFs because people don't use margin like they did back then. We're probably a little more elevated than we were in October of 99. It will take a speculative frenzy for us to elevate those prices, right? It will take more retail buying. It'll take more recruitment from a variety of other, from long-short hedge funds, from real money, et cetera. It'll take a combination of those things. It's not going to go up without flows and without a story. The story's there. It's the combination of the most unique and aggressive fiscal and monetary conditions that we've ever seen.
Okay, if you're right, who are the winners then in that, and who are the losers? Because right now we're looking at NVIDIA obviously being a major winner, even AMD today, major winner, but there's this unique arrangement that's almost circular.
The circularity makes me nervous. I would say, and I'm going to think of it in broad terms, I think what the markets are telling you, this is an inflation story down the road. If you look at the biggest winners, right? The biggest winners are gold. I think it's up 46, 47%. Bitcoin, I want to say it's up 50 or 60. I'm not even sure. There's a Morgan Stanley basket that's a retail flow basket that has all the meme stocks in it. It's up 67, 68%. So it's really what retail jumps on. So crypto, digital gold, that's obviously something that's very, very appealing.
And does that mean you're jumping on all of that right now?
Well, I'd want to have positions in all of it, for sure. So if you said to me, what are going to be the winners? Again, we have this race.
Right.
The race realistically is certainly to the end of the year, because that's when everyone marks institutionally. And then you have to figure out what's going to go on in next year. So what would I want to have? I'd want to have a combination of gold, crypto, probably the NASDAQ. I think, I want to say that I've said that before, and I think that's still the right one. And I think whatever the fastest horse is at this point in time probably has a good chance of being that on deck 31.
I agree with a lot of what he has to say, but I would say that, you know, rates being 0% is going to do nothing but cause more inflation down the road, right? So we do at the same time have to be a little bit careful. Jared, as far as taxes are concerned, I just give all of my stuff to my accountant, and he just does my taxes. I don't even bother trying to act like I know what I'm doing when it comes to the taxes, right? He's a smooth talker, yes. Ditto, what's up, man? Did you hear about Ondo expanding to Solana blockchain? Yes, I did. Seems very bullish for both projects. I agree. And hey, I hold both projects, so very, very bullish indeed for me. Candyman, my guy, says, if anyone is alone for Christmas, please let me know. I need to borrow your chairs. Absolutely. I love it. I love it. All right, guys, I got some coaching calls I got to get to over on the Patreon. Get over there, guys. It is literally half the price of a cup of a coffee right now. So get over there. We crushed a short on Bitcoin last night. We were rolling in the profits, my friends. Get over there. Join our live calls. We also have a Patreon live tonight at 6 p.m. Exclusive Patreon-only content, daily trades, so much more, guys. Get over there. We're going to be starting a new gem list as well. All that and more. Book your one-on-one coaching calls. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. I'll see you guys in the next one. God bless.